What's up, everybody? Welcome to my channel. Today I'm gonna continue working on the 81 Toyota pickup. I'm gonna finish doing the cross member. So I bought material. This is a long piece of pipe. I'm gonna be cutting it in pieces so that I can do the cross member. Like I said before, I was gonna do a couple of bends and I was gonna do the cross member like that, but I don't have much experience using the bender, so I'm gonna leave it for later. I'm gonna practice. Once I get good at it, then I'm gonna start using it on other cars, but for now I want to do pipe cuts. And I honestly was tempted to do a cross member with pipe cuts, so this is the perfect opportunity for me to do it. I haven't looked to see if anybody's done it, but man, I want to give it a try. I want to see how it comes out, and I want to see if it's gonna work. I think it's gonna work, but man, I want to see how good it's gonna be. And I want to clean the engine bay as well because I want to spray it. So I'm gonna find a radiator that's gonna fit. I'm gonna find an intercooler that's gonna fit. I'm gonna prep the engine bay, and I think I'm gonna spray it too. I don't think I'm gonna get that far in this video, but if I can at least get the cross member finished, then I'll be happy. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bolt on the brackets. So I'm gonna bolt the one on this side and the one on the other side. Then I'm gonna figure out how I'm gonna do it because there's a couple of ways I can do it. I wanna make it as high as I can from the ground, but I also wanna make sure I clear the yoke and the drive line. I mean, it shouldn't be a big deal because I only have like maybe 1.5 inches from the yoke going all the way down. So, I mean, I already welded my bracket. I didn't show you guys, but I mean, this is already welded. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put another piece of metal coming down on this side, and then I'm gonna do another one probably from this side right here. So I'm gonna figure out this angle going down, and I'm gonna figure out this angle as well, and then I'm just gonna cut like the edge of the piece. Then I'm just gonna run the tube underneath, and I'm just gonna connect it to the tube. I'm gonna make it simple. It shouldn't be a big deal, but we'll see. I'm gonna go ahead and install my brackets now. I got another set of bolts. I'm gonna use this for now, but eventually I'm gonna get new ones. So what I did is I put rubber hose on the bolt because I cut the hose a little bit bigger so that I don't have any problem trying to bolt it on. Sometimes when you cut them exactly to the size, when you weld it, it'll move, it'll twist, and you don't have enough plate to bolt everything on, so you gotta be fighting with the bracket. So these are a little bit bigger, as you can see. There's play, but with the rubber hose on, it's gonna center the bracket perfectly to the chassis. So once I finish welding everything, my cross member is gonna have play, and I shouldn't have a hard time bolting it on. I already installed both of my brackets, so here's one. I got the other one over here. So I got a couple of options. I could either bring it down and then just kind of do like a U, go underneath the transfer case, and then connect it to the other bracket, or maybe do another bracket coming down, and then I'll just weld it in an angle like somewhere right here, and then I can just go underneath the transfer case and then connect it to the other bracket. I think I'm gonna go with the first option. I'm just gonna weld it like this. I'm gonna do pie cuts, and I'm gonna go underneath the transfer case and connect to the other side. I'm gonna try to make it as simple as possible. I'm gonna make sure it's not strong enough so that it can hold the weight of the transmission and transfer case. Before I start doing any of that, I'm gonna center my transfer case and transmission. I don't know how close I want it from the tunnel, and I wanna make sure I have enough room for the shifters. I mean, anything other than that, everything's gonna clear. I'm not gonna have a problem with anything else, but I mean, I just wanna make sure that before I weld everything, it's gonna sit where I want it. Just by looking at it, I should have enough room. I mean, there's one of the holes for the shifter, and the other one should be somewhere right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start working on that cross member. I already finished centering the motor, and I also try to level it as much as I could. I'm gonna double check with my cell phone. I don't know if you guys are able to see, but it's pretty much leveled. So I mean, it's showing me 0 degrees. See if I move it around, I mean, it starts reading, and right now it's at, I mean, it's right there is at 0. So I'm gonna check a couple of other spots. I'm gonna check the oil pan, and I'm gonna check the upper oil pan. So it looks pretty level. I also centered the transmission. Let me show you guys real quick. For the transmission, I made sure that the output shaft was lined up to this right here. This seems to be like the middle of the truck. So I already checked it and it was pretty much lined up. And I also checked the degrees. So I like to leave them at 3 degrees. This one's at 3. And I mean, I checked the choke on this one, and the choke is like at 13, 14. So I mean, it's a greater angle, but I'm not even gonna worry about that because the truck is lifted and it's not meant to go fast. That's why it has a greater angle. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start working on that cross member. Another thing I noticed is that it's not gonna have to be as high anymore because I raised the transmission as much as I could and I still kept that 3 degrees that I wanted. I'm gonna go ahead and start cutting pieces so I can put everything together. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start cutting my angles. So I already got my pipe marked. I'm gonna do pipe cuts and I'm gonna just weld them together. I got my pieces. I'm gonna go ahead and clean them right now, but every piece is like 7.5 degrees on each end. So one piece is like 15 degrees. I'm gonna go ahead and use this row for one side. I'm gonna do a 90-degree angle. This is gonna be the other side. And in between, I might use a 45 to connect everything together. I'm gonna use this to clean them up from the inside. I'm gonna go ahead and clean them and then I'm just gonna weld everything together. Here's my pieces all welded together. So I got two 90-degree angles. I'm gonna need another 45. So I got extra pieces. These ones I already cleaned. I just gotta weld them together. I'm gonna get more. I have more on the other bench, but the other ones I gotta clean them up. These ones are gonna weld onto the chassis, the bracket that goes to the chassis, and then I need another 45 to connect the long pipe that is gonna go underneath the transmission. So this is the progress so far. I welded these two brackets right here, and I'm gonna use the long pipe on the bottom. Eventually, I'm gonna be adding these angles to the pipe. I already measured the length of the pipe and how much I need. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut it from here. And I'm also gonna cut this section from here because honestly, like, I don't want it this long and sticking down too much. So I'm gonna make it a little shorter. Then I think I'm gonna angle it up and then I'm just gonna connect to the ends. I'm gonna do a couple of changes. So I already welded this piece that goes down here. This one is longer on this side right here because the drive line goes right here. It's kind of dark, you can't see it, but pretty much the drive line is gonna go right here to the front diff. So I mean, I want all the clearance I can get on the yoke. So what I'm gonna do, I was gonna use these pie cuts right here, but honestly, I need to use this angle. So I'm gonna put this angle right here, and pretty much this pipe right here, it's gonna go like this, and it's gonna connect to the chassis. But I'm not gonna be able to use these pie cuts or this angle because I'm gonna have to do a lot more angles, and honestly, it's just a lot of work. It's gonna take me forever. So what I'm gonna do instead, I'm gonna weld this piece right here, this little angle. This is like a little 45. So I'm gonna weld it right here, and then this piece is gonna angle like this. I'm gonna do a bracket coming down. I'm gonna cut a hole in the middle, so this one is gonna go inside. Then I'm just gonna weld everything together, and it's gonna be a lot faster and a lot stiffer. I really wanted to do the pie cuts, but honestly, it's just gonna take forever. And I wanna make this as simple and strong as possible. I'm gonna go ahead and start cutting the pieces. I'm gonna tack them, and I'm gonna show you guys. I'm almost done on this side, on the passenger side. So I ended up TIG welding this piece right here. And then this one, I started TIG welding it, and then I ended up MIG welding it because it's a lot faster. But the only thing is that my welder was acting up. I needed to service a couple of things on the welder. So that's why it started welding like shit, but eventually it started getting better. I'm gonna try to clean that up. I'm gonna try to fix that because I don't like that at all. And I already did this side too. So I mean, like I said, I'm gonna clean it up a little bit, but I still gotta do brackets. So I'm gonna put another two pieces, one right here and then the other one on the back, and that's gonna be it for this side. Then I'm gonna get started on the other side, but I'm almost done. I'm pretty much done with the cross member. This side, it looks okay. I mean, I like the way it came out. It should be strong enough, but everything else came out good. I'm pretty happy with it. On the other side, I mean, the welder was welding a lot better. You can see the welds. I'm not a professional welder, but I'm learning as I go. So it's pretty much done. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna bring the truck down. I'm gonna start working on the engine bay. So what I wanna do now is I'm gonna bolt on the turbo. I wanna go ahead and bolt on the turbo, and I'm gonna start doing the exhaust. So I'm gonna do the exhaust, and I'm also I gotta do the wastegate, the whole exhaust. I'm gonna go with the MagnaFlow for the muffler. I gotta order everything. I don't have all of the parts, but I'm gonna start getting everything. And I'm also gonna order an intercooler. I don't know what I'm gonna do with the radiator. I think I'm gonna put it somewhere on the bottom. I wanna try something different with this truck. So I'm gonna go ahead and probably put the intercooler on the front where the radiator goes. And I wanna see if I can hook up the AC. So if I do that, if I go with the AC, I'm gonna have to put the radiator on the bottom because I want the radiator to be efficient. I don't wanna have any overheating problems. I'm gonna go ahead and put the wheel back on. I wanna bring the truck down and see how it looks. And I also have to clean up the mist. Okay, so there it is. I'm pretty much done with all the motor mounts and the Crossmember. Now I'm gonna start working on the exhaust. I'm gonna go ahead, grab the turbo, I'm gonna bolt it on. I'm gonna do the wastegate, and I gotta do the whole exhaust. Like I said before, I'm gonna go with the MagnaFlow, and I'm gonna do all stainless for the exhaust pipe. I was thinking about the intercooler too, and I think I have no other option than to bolt the intercooler on the front. I'm not gonna put the radiator on the front. I think I'm gonna put it somewhere in the bottom. And I'm also gonna start removing the harness. I wanna clean it up. I'm gonna do a couple of changes to it. There's a couple of connectors that I'm not gonna need. I'm gonna keep everything for the headlights. It's pretty much the headlights, the corner lights, and the horn as of right now. That's all the lights out. Well, actually, the marker lights too. That's all I'm gonna need. But pretty much, I'm gonna clean it up. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna remove as much as I can because I wanna spray the engine bay. But before I even think about spraying the engine bay, I need to have everything that I'm gonna weld to the engine bay done. I also wanna remove this bracket right here for the battery. I'm not gonna put the battery on the front. I wanna keep everything as clean as possible. So with that being said, that's gonna be it for this video. I don't want to make this video too long, and I still got a lot of work to do. So I'm gonna leave the exhaust for another video, and also the intercooler. Hopefully I can get to do the exhaust and the intercooler in one video. But that's gonna be it. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for being patient. I know I'm taking a minute on this truck, but I've been really busy. I want to get it done myself. I'm excited. I want to drive it. Once again, thank you. Don't forget to subscribe. If you guys have any comments, I want to hear from you guys. I'll see you guys on the next video.